What up? I'm Bea, and welcome back to my channel where we talk about all things true crime and current events. Today is another episode of what I like to call Crafty Crimes, where you and me, we sit down together, you and I, if we're being correct, and we do a craft, and we talk about something going on in the true crime world. Today is gonna be interesting because I've made one other Crafty Crime video about a YouTuber before. I've made one about Onision and the cult that he created, but that didn't really focus on any crimes he committed. It was just something weird that kind of falls under the true crime genre in general. So that's why I made that video. Today we're going to be talking about a YouTuber who may have actually committed a crime that they could possibly face legal consequences for, depending on the parties involved and how they decide to handle it. So if you watched my video, the last video that I posted, you're gonna know who this is about. Gabbie Hanna'S. We're gonna go over a ton of stuff she did, looking into patterns about her, seeing just the general maybe motive behind her behavior, and we're gonna finish off with talking about the scenario with Trisha and Gabbie and Gabby DiMartino. One thing that is going to be noticeably missing from this is the situation that happened between Gabbie Hanna and JESSI Smiles, because originally I had left it out because JESSI had not spoken on this for a long time. She made no mention of it. She didn't explain anything in terms of how her sexual assault related to her relationship with Gabbie. So I didn't want to include it. People have said that like Gabbie took JESSI's assailant's side, and it's been a whole thing, and I didn't want to talk about it because I didn't have the facts on it, so I just didn't. But JESSI has made a video kind of about her relationship with Gabbie, but more about something that Gabbie did and how she interacted with a fan of JESSI's who brought this topic up. So go watch her video. I'll link it below, and if you want to see my thoughts on that, go to my last video. Today, we're pushing that to the side and we're focusing on some other things. Gabbie Hanna'S is a 28-year-old YouTuber, singer, author, and former Viner. She got her start on Vine, and then in 2014, she decided to move to YouTube. In those first 2 years, it was just a lot of like storytime videos, a few kind of like prank videos, Ask Gabbie videos, stuff like that. Nothing too noticeable. No real drama other than the end of her friendship with JESSI Smiles. But like I said, we're glazing past that like a donut. End of 2015, beginning of 2016 is where we see her kind of get plunged a little bit more into the spotlight for things that are not necessarily in her favor. Oh, side note. Something about Gabbie is that she has a degree from University of Pittsburgh in psychology, and I don't know if it's a minor or if it's a separate degree. I would assume that it's a minor in communication. Keep that in mind. So, like I said, first 2 years, no real drama, nothing too big, too bad, whatever. But in August of 2016, Gabbie did an interview with Jen Dent for their Viner series. And in that video, she states that she doesn't really feel passionate about everything that she posts on Vine. She really just posts what she knows is going to get views, what's going to get clicks, what her audience is going to like, as opposed to things that she feels super passionate about. And at the end of that video, her direct quote was, when she was talking about like the type of content that she makes, her direct quote was, "I'm a businesswoman, man. Everything I do, gotta get that dollar sign." So that video came out in 2016. At the time, nobody really thought anything of it, but you know, just keep that in mind. The real drama starts in the end of 2015 when a video was posted about her basically calling her out for stealing jokes from Mitch Hedberg, Louis C.K., and Bo Burnham. And in the video, it included the examples of the stolen jokes, as well as just a general critique of some of the tactics that she uses in order to gain success and gain subscribers on YouTube, as well as calling her out for essentially always making herself the victim and having to have the moral high ground all the time. After that video, she had somewhat of an online altercation with Ricegum. Essentially, Gabbie tweeted something out that Ricegum felt was directed at him. He messaged her about it. She messaged back, basically saying it's not about you, but hey, if the shoe fits, stuff like that. And then he made a video about her where he basically called her out for being a hypocrite. He mentioned the joke stealing, and he did a diss track on her where he made fun of her nose and her appearance. So that got, like, Ricegum has a lot of viewers, a lot of followers, a lot of subscribers, got a lot of traction. And then later, a few months later, at a party, Gabbie was basically trying to, I guess, kind of smooth things over. She kind of got in his face with Snapchat, trying to make a joke. They had an altercation, and at the end of it, no one really knows what happened in the scuffle, but basically at the end, she was left with scratches and a broken phone. People don't all believe her. They think that maybe she did it to herself, that she is trying to make herself look like the victim in the situation, and she lied about everything. But in this case, I mean, it got a lot of publicity at the time. She went on a different podcasts, and Ricegum went on different podcasts and was interviewed, and it was a huge thing. But so she does look like the victim in that situation, but I think I kind of believe her. I watched it like unfold at the time that it happened, and thinking about it again and seeing some of the videos again, I don't know, I think she could have left him alone and not tried to approach him because of the controversy that had been happening. But at the end of the day, there's no excuse for putting your hands on somebody, and I believe her version of the events. After that, Gabbie announced that she was going to be writing a book called Adultolescence. Oh, and this is something that I wanted to say in the beginning. Calling someone out does not mean that you hate them. It does not mean that you want horrible things to happen to them. Going over all of the scandals that Gabbie has been included in is not my way of saying that she's a horrible person, that she deserves to be canceled, that I wish anything bad upon her. Because truth be told, until this entire situation happened with Trisha and Gabbie, there were some things that Gabbie had done that were problematic, but really, I was still rooting for her. Let me prove it to you. I own this book. I bought this book when it came out. Didn't love it, but I still have it. So just because I'm going through and looking at everything and talking about scandals that she has been in, like I said, it doesn't mean that I hate her or I wish anything bad on her. I just find people infinitely fascinating, and so that's part of it. But the other part of it is really about calling out injustice and destructive patterns, destructive behavior that preys on the vulnerability of others in order to cause damage to them while lifting yourself up. So that's the concept of the video. Moving on. In September of 2017, Adultolescence is released. And it was around this time that people started to notice that Gabbie was not spending as much time with the vlog squad as she used to. Neither of them addressed it. One of the earliest kind of mentions of what was going on was on the Shane Dawson podcast, where Gabbie was being interviewed, and she made some kind of cryptic statements about how it's just hard when you are in the business that she's in to really know like where your work day is separate from your personal life, because you're filming videos with these people, you're always together, you're always filming, always getting content, and it was just hard for her because she went through a lot of the controversies in that previous year, getting called out for joke stealing, just basically a lot of people not liking her, getting called a liar for the Ricegum situation, and none of the people in the vlog squad really spoke up about it and came to her defense. And she said, it hurts, it sucks, but I can't say that I wouldn't do the same. Like, I don't know if I would stick up for somebody if they were in my situation. So she said that, and then she also said that members of the vlog squad rely on they build off of each other, but she wanted to build off of herself, and that's why she kind of had to separate for the sake of her own reality and to further her career. In November of 2017, Gabbie posted a video that now has the title of Makeover Freakout, where the thumbnail is her in a black hoodie with the hood up, appearing to be crying, and originally it had a much more inflammatory title. I think it was like Makeover Disaster or something like that. I don't know what it was because she changed the title now. Basically, the title and the thumbnail on it were more severe than what the content of the video was. Essentially, Gabbie made a video about how she went to get her hair done. She told the person who was doing her hair, Guy Tang, who she's been to before, who is famous in his own right, to do whatever he wanted, like surprise her. She, was giving him total control. And he did it. She said that she really liked it. She thought it was super cute. And then when she got home, she basically had a panic attack about it because even though she told Guy Tang to do whatever he wanted and surprise her, it wasn't what she had envisioned. And according to her, she has CPTSD and anxiety, and she uses her hair as a security blanket. So when it didn't come out basically how she'd envisioned, she kind of had a breakdown about it. And she texted Guy, and he was like, oh my gosh, come back tonight. I'll fix it. We'll take care of it. Just come back. But she didn't. Instead, she went on camera, told the story, and then made a thumbnail and a title that threw him under the bus. This is really where we see Gabbie's behavior of playing the victim, because in previous things, in the previous altercations and stuff like that, it would be easy to believe that Gabbie was the victim. 2016 was a hard year for her. She had a lot going on. She made videos apologizing for the things that she did, trying to be honest, trying to explain everything. So with those situations, you can say oh, you did a few things wrong, but I see where it was hard for you. I see where you're coming from. I can see both sides. But with this, it was just there was no reason to do that. Instead of owning up to it and maybe deleting the video, reposting it with a talk on anxiety, something like that, something that actually probably could have helped somebody who was feeling anxious or does struggle as well with CPTSD, it could have helped them. But she kept it as clickbait. Instead of doing that, she posted another video being oh my gosh, everybody was so mad. Can you believe it? It's a joke. Guy knew about it. It's a joke. And I just don't think that's cool. Whether he knew about it or not, I don't think he knew that you were going to post such an inflammatory title and thumbnail. But, like I said, I'm not the only one who was upset about it. The comments are not great. A lot of people are calling her out. And one of the comments that I think summarizes how her audience felt about it is this one that I'm going to read. So this comment is from Drea, and it says, okay, problem. She stated multiple times that her displeasure with her hair wasn't Guy's fault. But why would she go out of her way to make a video expressing dissatisfaction with someone else's work, even if it was her fault? If I do a commission for someone and they aren't specific enough about what they want, say to my face that they love the finished product, and turn around to explain to a huge audience why my work was good but didn't meet their expectations that weren't stated at all due to anxiety about a thing they've been aware of for a while, I'd be pretty disappointed that they did that instead of coming to me first so I could fix the problem pro bono. As someone who has spent their life with severe mental illnesses, in parentheses, the scary, crazy, stigmatized kind, not just garden variety depression or anxiety, end parentheses, I had to learn quickly that my mental reaction to things other people do bear importance on their feelings and or career. The things you do matter. You're allowed to have struggles with anxiety or with mental illness, or you're allowed to have a bad day. You're allowed to have a bad time. But at the end of the day, you have to take responsibility for yourself, and you have to understand that your actions affect others. And you're not the victim because people called you out for doing something that they didn't like. You've made a mistake and you can fix it, but instead, she just kind of doubled down on it. which is disappointing, but not surprising. So that was November of 2017, and for the next few months, there's not too much to report on. Nothing too crazy happened. Things were pretty quiet until we hit July of 2018, which is when Gabbie posted a video talking about her pathological liar ex-boyfriend. It has over 7 million views, and after the success of that video, she made an additional 2 videos with like a package that he sent her, as well as texts and letters from him. Less than a month later, her video for Honestly and Honestly Encore came out. Throughout the videos, she is, obviously something bad happened to her. She is portraying herself as the victim because she perceives that she was taken advantage of, that she was lied to, which she probably was lied to. Let's be real, everyone has an ex that's not great, that like either lied to you or took advantage of you or whatever. So that's not the problem. But the thing is, the timing of it, of her posting that initial video, the follow-up videos, and then a few weeks later, she's like, and actually, like, I wrote this song about my ex. It's just very calculated. With this, there's nothing too much, there's not like a scandal. People weren't calling her out for anything related to this that I saw. But it just shows you she's a businesswoman. She knows what she's doing. And then a few months later, we have the infamous Kenza Cosmetics scam. Ugh. Gabbie posted on her Instagram story that she heard about a website called Kenza Cosmetics. They were selling, they were giving away free high-quality brushes worth $70 or $80 per set, but they were getting rid of them to clear out their inventory, get ready for the new year, and you could have them for free. All you have to do is pay for shipping. But that was not the case. It was a scam. Many people did not get their brushes. Kenza just took their money, and that was it. But for the people who did get their brushes, they were very disappointed. It was clear that these were not high-quality brushes. They were the exact same sets that you could get on AliExpress. They weren't as advertised if people got them at all. Instead of taking accountability for promoting the scam, apologizing to her followers, and doing what she could to get Kenza Cosmetics to make it right, she posted a video called "Get Ready With Me Using Products I Declined as Sponsors." The video no longer exists. I don't know if it's on private, deleted, what, but it's gone. In this video, she dropped the infamous, I would add to that, manage your expectations just a little bit line when talking about how people were upset that these were not luxury high-end brushes. They were just similar to like drop shipping brushes that you can get. But you said they were worth $80. That's the thing, is she was like, they're free brushes, you're just paying for shipping. Manage your expectations. But you don't have the luxury of saying that when you're the one who told your audience they were worth $80+. You don't have the luxury of saying that when the reason people are getting scammed is because they trusted you to not lead them wrong. They trusted you to promote something that was trustworthy, that was quality, that was good for them, that they could enjoy with you. And you let them down. It's just not cool. So that video was not well received, very understandably, and in January 2019, she decided to get on an interview, be in a video with another commentary channel that goes by the name INABBER, and the interview was not great. It was really just, it sounded kind of patronizing, and there was a lot of backpedaling. She was really just trying to, in my opinion, gain back the public's favor by speaking a lot and like making it sound like you're saying a lot of things, but without really saying anything of value. And in this video, it would appear that she called herself out for a few things, but mainly being a hypocrite about the situation, where she said that she didn't want to make a video right away about people not getting their brushes because she wanted to do her research, but at the same time, there was a lot that she didn't look into, that she didn't know about, that she didn't care to learn before she went on camera and spoke about it. When you initially hear that, you can be, it may seem like that's a genuine thing. She's admitting her fault. She recognizes that she did something wrong, and, you know, may seem like she's learned from it. But here's what I think. I think she is using a tactic that is well known to members of the negotiation community, where you don't deny the negatives. I learned about this in a book called Never Split the Difference that was written by Chris Voss. He is a former FBI anti-terrorism negotiator. And so he wrote this book. He goes over different tactics that you want to use. And basically, what you do when you don't deny the negative is you take something bad about yourself and you say it first. You don't want to deny the bad things because that will give them credence. So you could say, I know I'm being cheap right now, or I know I'm asking for a lot right now, because if you call it out first, in America, and in many other places I'm sure, we were raised in what is meant to be a polite society, where if you call yourself out, if you point out something negative about yourself, the other person, in an effort to be polite, will treat you more favorably and try to make you feel better about the fact that you recognize that there is something unfavorable about you, or about your action, your request, what you're doing. So I think that Gabbie, whether she's read this book, whether she, I don't know, she's a psychology major, she probably learned about it. But in my opinion, she knows that this is a tactic. She knows this is a thing. She knows that if she calls herself out first, it's going to prevent other people from doing it to her. So she did the interview. It wasn't great, you know. INABBER did a good job. He asked a lot of good questions. He didn't really back down from most of the things that he wanted answers on, but she just, I don't know, she was trying to finesse. Also, she called commentaries and critiques of her and her actions hate, as opposed to what they are, which is commentary and or critiques. So a lot of people were upset about that. Since then, she's pretty much stayed out of stuff. She's not really been in any mainstream issues, no real fights with anybody, nothing. She's just been, you know, focusing on her music. She released her EP, Two-Way Mirror, which is actually pretty good. But really, that's about it. You know, she bought her house. You'll see her playfully put her friends Joe and Irene against each other for, oh, who loves me more? Who do I love more? Which I hate. And she also, in the comment section of one of her videos, a lot of people talked about this, but it didn't really get talked about by any commentary channel that I saw. She hired somebody to come and help her professionally organize her makeup, and then the entire time she just prevented this lady from doing her job. She was goofing off. She was taking stuff that the lady was trying to organize, and she effectively roasted her, telling her that she wasn't cool. So, you know, not great, but also not necessarily newsworthy. Then we get to November 4th, where on Twitter, Gabbie responded to a tweet posted by Tana Mojo talking about how she was bored and do we think that she should start a scandal soon? And Gabbie responded, can it be with me? My views are down. And just a few days later, Gabbie went on Instagram and gave a hypothetical situation that clearly wasn't hypothetical, because she posted screenshots of the conversation between her and this person. And I'm not going to go through every single detail of this because it's messy and it's a lot, but we're gonna have a general overview. So Gabbie posts these screenshots, and you know, she blacks out the name, but doesn't completely black out the picture. And people obviously know she's talking about Trisha Paytas. The synopsis of her story was, am I wrong? You know, imagine you have a friend who started sleeping with someone who has an incurable STD, and you heard this from a reliable source who's friends with them. And you went to that friend and you said, hey, heard this, don't know if it's true or not. do with this information what you will. Just wanted to let you know maybe you should talk to her. Does that person have a right to be mad at you? Did you do the right thing? She posted a poll about it. She's like, people are just crazy. I am so kind. I am so kind, and I will always reach out. And my life is amazing. So I don't really need to be worrying about this right now. I have the best friend. I have the best boyfriend. I just want to make music. Like, basically painting herself as the victim in a situation yet again where she can't see where she did anything wrong, and this other person is just crazy, right? You guys agree with me, right? They're so crazy. Let's just not talk about it. Like, let me bring it up, but let's just not talk about it because I just want to focus on my music. And when she posted the screenshots, obviously people figured out that it was Trisha, and they assumed it was Trisha, and they knew it was Trisha when she posted a video titled Why I Don't Trust Gabbie Hanna', where she basically gave the same account of the situation that Gabbie Hanna' gave, and explained that, I don't have a problem with Gabbie. I think she's makes good music. I like her videos. I've sang covers of her songs on my Instagram story before. Like, I don't have a problem with her. I just don't want to hang out with her. Like, I don't want to talk to her. I don't think about her. I don't talk about her. I don't want anything to do with her, essentially. And the reason that this came up, because Trisha and Jason dated, they started dating, 2 years ago, like a long time ago. So this wasn't a recent thing, but Trisha had met up with another YouTuber named Gabbie DiMartino to work on a project with her. They spent some time together, and when Gabbie Hanna'S saw this, she texted Gabbie DiMartino about it and was like, what did Trisha say? Did Trisha say anything about me? Because after Gabbie went and told Jason this information that she heard from somebody else, she could not wrap her head around the fact that Trisha would not want to be her friend. And so she continued to contact Trisha, continued to try and speak to her like nothing had happened, continued to basically try and insert herself in her life. And so she texted Gabbie DiMartino and was like, what's going on? And this is where things get kind of muddy, because we know that Gabbie DiMartino lied to both Trisha and Gabbie Hanna'S. So the story that she told Gabbie Hanna'S was, oh, Trisha said that she thought you didn't like her. And the story that she told Trisha was that, I said this, but I lied. She was blowing me up. We're not even that close. I just wanted to get rid of her. I wanted to get her to leave me alone. But then she goes back and says, well, me and Gabbie, we're so close. I only lied to Trisha because I wanted, I wanted her to like me. I was trying to mitigate the situation. Blah, blah, blah. Gabbie DiMartino is 24 years old, and I don't understand why she would lie. I don't understand why she's acting like the victim in this situation, because she's the one who got in the middle of something. Because to me, if somebody was talking poorly about somebody who was my friend, I would stop them. I would just be like, hey, that's my friend. I don't want to hear it. But obviously, Gabbie heard all of it. Gabbie DiMartino heard all of it. And then when Gabbie Hanna'S asked her about it, she lied instead of just telling the truth. Like, I don't know. I don't know how that makes it I don't know how that makes sense. But after all of this, Trisha told Gabbie DiMartino, I don't care what you do. I don't like that you said that. If you want, because Gabbie DiMartino was asking, should I post something? I don't know. What do you want me to say? Write it up and I'll say it. And Trisha was like, I don't care what you do. I don't want to talk to you. I think it's shady that you did this. I have no interest in continuing this conversation, essentially is what she said. And this is where we get into the crime portion of the video. Because Gabbie Hanna'S then took to Twitter to say, my beautiful, amazing, sweet friend Gabbie DiMartino just called me sobbing because Trisha threatened her to make a post. She's terrified and broken. This is crossing a line. Gabbie does not deserve this. She told her if she doesn't make a post, she's to expose all of her secrets. She's living in fear and being blackmailed into defending Trisha. She does not deserve this. She's such a gentle, beautiful, generous, loving soul. Blackmailed is in all caps. Another tweet. Over the last day, multiple people have reached out and to me about being terrified of her. This is why. And eventually, this was as recent as the 12th, she said, one of the most empowering things you can do for yourself is knowing that you could hurt somebody who wants to hurt you, but choosing empathy instead. Life is better when led with love. Give it and you will receive it. Life is fucking beautiful. So here's the problem with those tweets. Let's focus on the blackmail tweet first. As far as we know, we have seen screenshots from both Gabbie DiMartino and Trisha that, to us, from what we know, prove that Trisha did not threaten her or force her to say anything. She did not say, unless you make a post admitting that you lied, admitting X, Y, or Z, I am going to do this to you and this will be negative. She didn't say it. And I'm not a lawyer, but I know how to use Google. According to California Civil Code Section 44, defamation can be put in effect by either libel or slander. And according to California Civil Code Section 45, that defines libel as false and unprivileged publication by writing, printing, picture, effigy, or other fixed representation to the eye, Twitter, which exposes any person to hatred, contempt, ridicule, or obloquy, which causes him to be shunned or avoided, or which has a tendency to injure him in his occupation, aka taking to Twitter and accusing somebody of blackmail when they did not blackmail you, or someone that you know. Slander is governed by California Civil Code Section 46 and includes spoken words, transitory gestures of any form of communication other than those which constitute libel. Seems to me like we've got some libel going on. Additionally, so to bring a claim for defamation, a plaintiff must establish the following: false or defamatory statement of and concerning the plaintiff, unprivileged communication to a third party which causes harm to the plaintiff's reputation and damages. California law recognizes defamation per se. And so defamation per se means that in certain cases, the defamation is on such a big level, on such like a high magnitude, that the plaintiff, the person who is suing somebody else for defaming their character, they don't have to prove that it actually caused damages to their life. Like, the state just automatically assumes that it did because of what was said or what was published about that person. Anyway, this may be asserted in situations where oral statements charge any person with a crime of moral turpitude, as in allegations that the individual has been infected with a loathsome disease. Kind of like Gabbie telling Jason without knowing that she heard that Trisha has herpes, as well as Gabbie going on her Instagram story stating that she heard that somebody had herpes and so she spoke to that person's new sexual partner about it, and then posting screenshots with enough information to indicate that it was actually Trisha Paytas that she was talking about. But hey, that's just where my mind goes. So, allegations that the individual has been infected with a loathsome disease or attacked the person's professional character. Also, could be seen as somebody goes to another state to work with another influencer, and then after an altercation with that influencer is accused of blackmail, which essentially would prevent other people from wanting to bring that person into any productions or projects that they may have going in the future. Who knows? In order to be charged, if the individual is a public figure, the law is a little bit different than if it's a private citizen. Well, not a private citizen, but like somebody who's not, like a regular person. If the individual is a public figure, then the plaintiff must establish that the statement was false, and the statement was made with actual malice. Actual malice means that the defendant made the statement with the knowledge that the statement was false, or with reckless disregard of whether it was false or not. At the end of the day, regardless of what she told Jason, because that was a private conversation, initially that was not public, that was her looking out for a friend. She crossed the line when she explained it to her followers. That's what I'm hearing. That's what I'm seeing. Not only did she spread information that false information that Trisha has herpes, but she shared it with her followers. She made it so that they could easily figure out who was in that screenshot. And she caused a problem out of nothing. Because here's the thing. Gabbie going to Jason about this, it's not the greatest move. It really isn't. But in that situation, if somebody comes to you and says, hey, your friend is hooking up with somebody that I'm close with, and this person that I'm close with, they have herpes. What are you going to do? That's such an awkward situation to be in. Like, do you approach that person and risk offending them? Do you approach your friend and risk them telling the person that it was about? Like, it's just a tough situation to be in. So I don't think that what Gabbie did was inherently wrong. And I don't think it's wrong for Trisha to be upset by it and not want to be Gabbie's friend over it, because it's awkward, it's uncomfortable. Like, it's just not a great situation. So neither of them are wrong. But where we have a problem is with the fact that Gabbie she is driven by affirmation. She cannot accept the fact that somebody doesn't like her because she doesn't think she did anything wrong, and so she has to go out of her way to first try and convince Trisha to like her, and then when that doesn't work, say, I'm so kind, I did everything I could to help this person, I have such a big heart, I will always reach out, people take advantage of it. Like, she has to have somebody tell her that she was right. She has to have somebody back her up, tell her that what she did was completely right, she didn't do anything wrong, this other person is just crazy for not wanting to be her friend, and basically just gas her up. And Trisha said that, she's like, I'm starting to think that they planned this together. They may not have planned it together. Gabbie DiMartino seems kind of like a pawn to me because she's refusing to take ownership of her actions. She admitted she lied and she apologized, but she's telling different stories to different people. Like, I don't know what to say about her. But Gabbie, I think this was a setup on Gabbie's end. And maybe she didn't mean for everything to happen the exact way that it happened. But this is a way that posting the story, talking about it, and then deleting everything and being like, life is so beautiful when you know you could hurt somebody, but you choose not to. Like, playing the saint, like thinking about hurting somebody and then deciding not to is, the litmus test for a great person. But it's for public validation. And, hear me out on this, tinfoil hat coming on. All of this happened within 1 to 2 weeks before her music video for her song Broken Girls came out. So, not only may she have been motivated by public validation, she could have wanted increased engagement on Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, because that would increase revenue from any ads on YouTube, but as well as showing that you have good engagement on Instagram could result in higher paying sponsorships, additional sponsorships, a way to earn more money. That's just a theory. Nothing has happened or come out that proves that. Gabbie has not made a statement on it. But I will leave you with the quote from 2016. I'm a businesswoman, man. Everything I do, gotta get that $sign. With that, we have come to the end of the video. Thank you so much for sticking it out with me. This was a very long one. We covered a ton of stuff, but like I said, I'm just fascinated by people, and I think that it's important to talk about injustice and kind of negative patterns that can put people in upsetting situations or can cause harm to others, even when it's not physical harm but emotional harm. So what do you think? Do you think that this was all just a big misunderstanding, that there was no motivation behind any of it, it just flew out of proportion? Or do you think that maybe there was a little bit of forethought into what Gabbie was doing when she posted that story? Please leave it in a comment below, and while you're doing that, I would love it if you would consider liking this video or subscribing to my channel. It would mean a lot, and for those of you who have subscribed already, thank you so much. I'm so appreciative of you, and I love being able to just sit here, hang out, and talk about whatever. With all that being said, I'm going to go ahead and let you go. Thank you again so much for watching, and remember to go out there and be the voice of reason in a world full of crazy. Bye.